On June 8th of 2019, a freshman, Kumar Rocker, secured his place in college baseball history. At age 19, he led Vanderbilt to a 3-0 win over Duke, striking out 19 and completing the first ever individual no-hitter in NCAA Super Regional history. This storybook moment seemed to reassure fans and scouts alike that opting for Vanderbilt over the 2018 MLB draft had been the right choice. Now, 2 years and 9 months later, Kumar Rocker is not playing organized baseball. What happened? Hey guys, it's been a while. I do apologize for my hiatus, but we are back and we'll be uploading regularly again. Also, make sure to stick with us to the end of the video, as I will be announcing the rules for an Xbox Series X giveaway that I will be doing for one of my lucky subscribers. But as always, this is Brett with Baseball Prospect Analysis, and today we will be breaking down the former Vanderbilt standout Kumar Rocker and his recent disappearance from organized baseball. Kumar Rocker was a 6'4", 255-pound right-handed pitcher out of Watkinsville, Georgia, who attended North Oconee High School. Ranking-wise, he sat comfortably at number 8 overall, and was regarded as the third best right-handed pitcher in the 2018 class via Perfect Game. Gatorade awarded him with the 2017-2018 Georgia Player of the Year, and both Perfect Game and Under Armour awarded him All-American status. From a fairly young age, Kumar was known to have a high-ceiling arm and physicality, as well as overall stuff beyond his years. At age 15, he appeared at the 2015-16U WWBA tournament and caught scouts by surprise. A newcomer to the team, Rocker was not listed on the programs handed out. This did not stop scouts from scrambling over to his field to catch his appearance. The then 6'4", 220-pound freshman impressed with, quote, "one of the easiest and loosest arm actions I've ever seen in Georgia, producing a downhill fastball sitting in the upper 80s, touching that prestigious 90 mark. For someone as young as him, he was excellent at controlling his natural arm side run, pounding in low glove side fastballs and complementing it with a short tilting upper 70s slider. It was safe to say, after that performance, Kumar was on the high follow list for college scouts and became a name to check in on for many professional organizations. In the following years, Kumar would develop and fill out his frame nicely, leading to a July 2017 number 1 overall ranking and a commitment to Vanderbilt that at the time looked doubtful at best, based on his skyrocketing draft stock. In June of 2017, his final Perfect Game scouting report was released in regards to his performance at the 2017 National Showcase. The now 6'5", 250-pound righty featured an extra physical frame with loads of lower half strength. His delivery was still low effort with a very easy and loose arm action that produced mid to upper 90s fastballs, topping 98, with big running action at times. Overall, he had great command of the pitch and showed that he could spot on both sides of the plate. His slider now sat in the mid-80s and flashed sharpness. The changeup was still in development but now showed some sinking action. To summarize, Rocker was an absolute tank, with athleticism to make any adjustments needed at the professional level. Scouts and mock drafts agreed, projecting him as a first-round pick who had the ability to land in the top 10 picks. However, after months of thinking and some guidance from his parents, Kumar decided to join the ranks of Tyler Beatty, Donnie Everett, and David Price by turning down the draft and opting to spend the next 3 years with Coach Corbin and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Rocker explained, "In my gut, I just needed my mom to be happy with my decision. I don't know if it makes me a mama's boy, but I couldn't go into pro ball thinking that she was not okay with it." Kumar's mom, Blue, said, "Education has always been a huge part of our culture, and it's important for Kumar." She pointed out that the major factors in this decision were the plus education, the student-athlete life, and the fact that it gave Kumar the chance to grow in a positive environment. Something to note here would be that Kumar's father, Tracy Rocker, was a college football Hall of Famer and was the Tennessee Vols defensive line coach at that time. He is currently the defensive line coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, it is fairly safe to say that at the time, money was not a huge factor in Kumar opting out of the draft, where many other top prospects may take the draft selection, even if they prefer college, due to the signing bonus representing life-changing money for their family. Despite Rocker announcing his decision to honor his commitment to Vandy, the Colorado Rockies still selected him with their 38th round pick. Many organizations will still select campus-bound stars late in the draft, with the off chance they may have a change of heart. This of course doesn't happen as much anymore due to the shortened 20-round drafts we'll see in the future. Nevertheless, Rocker obviously did not sign with the Rockies in 2018, and this will not be the only time he fails to sign with an MLB organization. Upon arriving on campus, Kumar immediately impressed his teammates and coaching staff. In one of his first fall ball appearances, Rocker struck out 8 consecutive Oklahoma State batters with a scorching fastball and pair of improved off-speed pitches. It became very apparent that despite Vanderbilt returning its entire weekend starting rotation in Drake Fellows, Patrick Raby, and Mason Hickman, Rocker was just too skilled to remain in the bullpen for too long. By spring of 2019, Kumar had earned himself a spot in the weekend rotation and held his position for nearly the whole year. His freshman season was not perfect by any means. He started off a bit rocky, excuse the pun, but got better as the season progressed and flourished in achievement at the very end. Somehow, Rocker far exceeded his already inflated expectations and ended the year in historic fashion. In the season as a whole, Rocker finished 12-5 with a 3.25 ERA in 99.2 innings, with 114 strikeouts and only 21 walks. Though, in the College World Series, he went 4-0 with a .96 ERA with 44 strikeouts and 5 walks in 28 innings. This, of course, included his no-hitter against Duke and his performance in the title game against Michigan, where he struck out 11 in 6.1 innings pitched, leading Vandy to their second national title. These brilliant performances led him to being named Baseball America's Freshman of the Year, as well as a College World Series Most Outstanding Player. Kumar had become one of 6 freshmen ever to receive this award. To put it plain and simple, Kumar Rocker had taken college baseball by storm. Baseball fans and scouts alike were all eager to see the former Natty champs, Vanderbilt, take on the 2020 season. Not only did they have their playoff star, Kumar Rocker, returning, they now also possessed the extremely talented freshman, Jack Leiter. Similar to Rocker, Leiter opted to attend Vanderbilt despite his first-round projections. Al Leiter, an MLB Network studio analyst, as well as Jack's father, told MLB teams not to draft him. He's going to play for Coach Corbin and the Commodores. Unfortunately, as you may already know, the 2020 season was canceled early. In the shortened season, Rocker finished 2-1 with a 1.8 ERA, striking out 28 in 15 innings. He also gained the accolades of being ranked number 3 overall by Baseball America and was listed as SEC's top MLB 2021 draft prospect by D1 Baseball. Heading into the 2021 season, Rocker was regarded as a top, if not the top, MLB draft prospect available. Injury concerns, as always, with flame-throwing right-handers were somewhat prevalent, but Rocker's large tank of a body and easily controlled mechanics made it much less worrisome. Stuff-wise, Rocker's arsenal was generally graded out fairly high, and for good reason. His fastball was mostly listed as a potential 60 to 70 grade pitch. At its worst, it was an upper 90s heater with average action and below-average command. At its best, it was a near unhittable running fireball. His slider, some regarded, was his best pitch. Grading all the way up to 70 for some, he commanded it better than his fastball, and the pitch truly gyroed off the plate. Add that it darted in at up to 88 miles per hour, and you have quite a nasty breaking ball on your hands. Changeup-wise, scouts, for the most part, all graded it the same. It's a pitch with above-average action, below-average usage, and below-average consistency. Mostly graded as a potential 50 to 55, as when it's at its best, the pitch played great with its slider. All in all, scouts hope to see Rocker display better overall command and an increase in his changeup usage throughout another dominant season in Nashville. Unfortunately, the 2021 season seemed to end in the exact opposite way of the 2019 season for Kumar Rocker. In the 2021 World Series final, Rocker struggled to control his stuff and ended up giving Mississippi State 5 runs in 4 innings of work. The Bulldogs used momentum to cruise to a 9-0 victory, securing their program's first ever national title. Obviously, this was a brutal way for Kumar Rocker to end his career as a Commodore. However, that is not to say he didn't have a productive season as an individual. On the year, Kumar finished with a 14-4 record with a 2.73 ERA in 122 innings pitched, with 179 strikeouts and 39 walks. He led the nation in strikeouts and wins and became only the second athlete to do so since 1988. Add to that first-team All-American honors and finalist selections for both the Golden Spikes Award and Dick Hauser Trophy, and you have quite a successful season. Into the 2021 MLB Draft, scouts had many of the same concerns as before, just now they are somewhat amplified. The main concern for many was consistency. Throughout the 2021 season, Rocker seemed to either dominate or struggle, with not much in between. There were games where he just dominated his competition, striking out every other batter it seemed like. And then he had his games against Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, and Mississippi State, where he struggled greatly, averaging a 10.9 ERA. When teams learned to lay off his slider, he struggled to execute his fastball and still scarcely used his changeup. Kumar was by no means a one-trick pony, but when his fastball-slider combo was disrupted, his changeup and newly added cutter rarely played up enough for him to get away with badly placed fastballs. Another concern was his sudden velocity dip mid-season. At one point, his fastball was sitting upper 80s, touching 92, without much explanation why. Eventually, he did regain his velo, but wasn't able to maintain mid to upper 90s heat like many hoped he would. On the positive side of things, Rocker's slider was highly regarded among all reports. Many graded it as a current plus-plus pitch, with potential to be something very special. However, the slider could only get better if the fastball command improved. If collegiate opponents were able to differentiate the pitches and wait on the fastball, then you better believe pro guys would be able to follow suit. Despite these concerns, most mock drafts still had Kumar drafted in the top 10 with the possibility of going number 1. The main takeaways were, yes, there are concerns, but the kid wins games and arguably has the highest ceiling in the draft. With the 10th pick of the 2021 MLB draft, the New York Mets selected Kumar Rocker. To some, this came as quite a shock, as Rocker's teammate Jack Leiter was selected 8 picks ahead of him at the number 2 spot. Sure, Leiter had a great year, but Kumar had 2 great years and was often graded higher than Leiter. So why did this happen? Well, pedigree certainly came into play. Jack is son of former MLB pitcher Al Leiter, where Kumar's father played football, but mostly I think he dropped due to injury concern. Despite knowing what happens next, I do truly believe teams were questioning his velocity dips and his struggle repeating release points at that time. Whether a player knows something is up or not, when there is an injury or irregularity in the arm, pitchers will generally struggle repeating mechanics and may overcompensate to make up for loss of control or velocity. I think some teams picked up on that and decided to pass on him for that specific reason. Of course, there's always a question of what the organization wants or needs, but when you take into account 3 right-handed pitchers were drafted before him, there's definitely more to it than that. Now let's go over some of the rumors and facts that apparently floated around MLB orgs before the draft. According to John Boy Media, MLB orgs were in fact passing on Rocker due to rumors of an elbow injury or potential bad MRI. Scott Boras, the agent representing Rocker, announced a privately done MRI showed no reasons for concern and a perfectly healthy elbow. However, Kumar declined to do a pre-draft MRI by the MLB and did not throw bullpens in front of the MLB scouts. Now, you can look at this one of 2 ways. First, you could argue a pre-draft MRI could do nothing but hurt Kumar's stock, and declining it was just a smart business decision. This theory has some merit to it. Kumar is by no means the first draft prospect to decline this service. However, when you pair this situation with the fact that he opted for strength and conditioning workouts rather than pre-draft pens, it does feel a little fishy. You could certainly make the argument that Boras knew his client had some issues and tried his best to conceal them. My personal view is that something was definitely going on behind the scenes, but Rocker's decisions were purely business-oriented and not as shady as some may think. At the end of the day, he was just doing as he was advised and protecting his draft stock. Now this is where things get very interesting. On August 1st, 2021, it was announced that the New York Mets and Kumar Rocker were unable to come to an agreement. This meant Kumar had the option to return to Vanderbilt, sign with an independent team, or train until the 2022 MLB draft. He was not able to directly sign with another MLB team. The Mets, however, will get direct compensation with the 11th pick in the 2022 MLB draft. With Rocker declining the pre-draft MRI, they were also given the option to offer him below slot value. The Mets initially did not cheap out and offered $6 million pending a successful physical examination. Unfortunately for Rocker, the examination revealed multiple concerns in his right arm, with many reports suggesting the main problem being his elbow. Ultimately, the Mets never made another formal offer after the examination, leading us to where we are today. As of March 21st, 2022, Kumar Rocker declined to return to Vanderbilt and is not officially listed on any independent roster. The most recent update we have comes from February 2nd, 2022 in a CBS Sports article. The article states Kumar has been training the last several weeks and intends to join an independent team this summer. Tim Corbin also told reporters that he was in seemingly good health and throwing off a mound again. Other than this article, direct updates from Kumar or his camp have been non-existent. However you want to view this situation, you have to agree it was handled sloppy at best. If the Mets had no intentions of signing Kumar with the MRI results, then you'd have to believe they did no research prior to drafting him, and just thought 10 teams passed on him for no specific reason. I find it hard to believe that Kumar would have rejected any offers close to slot value after his examination. Taking any offer below slot value certainly seems like a better deal than waiting another year with the hopes of another first-round pick, especially after the physical examination concerns went public. The fact that the Mets reportedly made no second offer following this examination is baffling to me. If this was their desired outcome if the examination went bad, then why draft him at all? The situation clearly hurts Rocker in the long run and makes the Mets look disorganized and incompetent. As for the 2022 draft, I cannot truly make an educated prediction for Kumar Rocker. We have no clue what his stuff looks like as of right now. If he's truly healthy and ready to compete, then he desperately needs to sign with an indie ball team and log some innings. With his inconsistencies in his last year at Vanderbilt, organizations are going to want to see a lot more than 2 to 3 inning relief appearances in indie ball. They'll want to see if he can maintain his velocity and release points through the course of a season. If Rocker is able to do that, then he has a shot at being an early to mid first round pick. Anything less than that, I'm afraid MLB orgs will pass on him for this year's crop of talent. The one factor Kumar is going for him is that he has been an adult body-wise for quite some time. This may make his recovery from whatever he's dealing with easier. Throwing upper 90s heat is nothing new to him, as he's been doing that for years now. As always, I truly hope the best for Kumar. Watching his no-hitter live against Duke was amazing for me. Kumar was one of the first prospects I personally kept tabs on since his junior year. And seeing someone you followed since high school dominate in the College World Series as a freshman was a special sight. Let's hope to hear more updates from his team in the future, and hopefully we'll see him in some indie ball this summer. Now, I'm very excited to announce the rules for my Xbox Series X giveaway. Upon reaching 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, I will randomly be selecting one of you to receive one Xbox Series X. In order to be eligible for this giveaway, you must do the following. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for this channel. Follow my TikTok and Instagram, will be linked in the description below. Like this video and comment done below. Once this channel hits 5,000 subs, I'll be using a random generator to select the winner, and I'll ship it off to you. Please note, this giveaway is open only to the United States and not including Hawaii or Alaska for shipping reasons. Lastly, I'd like to thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.